Hey everybody, good morning. How you doing? Hope y'all doing great. I just like to say, how y'all like my new Christmas hat? I've been wearing this at work. Tell you what, I've got so many compliments that if I had a dime for every time I got a compliment, I could retire young and live to enjoy it. Yup. I just thought since I ain't made a video in a while and ain't done a live stream in a while, I thought I'd just say good morning to y'all. I'm gonna be smoking a pipe here, and if anybody wants to join in, awesome. I welcome you too. I'm gonna be smoking Colt Blood Red Moon out of my London, England pipe here. It's a bit of a rainy, dreary kind of morning this morning. It's been that way for the last 3 days. I used to have a friend that lived in Liverpool, England, and one day I was doing like a live video chat with him, and I kept noticing that every once in a while it'd go from sunny to looking really gray and dark in the background. And one day I asked him, I said, "So what's the weather like over there?" He goes, "Why you ask?" And I said, "Well," I said, "I notice in the background sometimes it'll go from being bright, sunny, to being kind of dark and rainy looking." He goes, "Well," he said, "that's the way the weather is." He said, "You might have some nice sunny weather maybe for about 2 or 3 hours." And he said, "And all of a sudden out comes a nice little shower." He said, "That's the way it is over here." And I said, "Oh, wow." I said, "I never thought about that." But, yeah. And just in case anybody's wondering, the background music you're hearing is Johann Sebastian Bach's Christmas Sonata. I think it's how it's supposed to be called, Christmas Sonata. Just like to say to all my fellow retail friends that work in retail, I just like to say I feel sorry for you all this time of year. As we all know that are unfortunately stuck in the retail jobs at this point in our lives. From the time Black Friday, well, actually, a little, some of times, starting the day before Thanksgiving on up till about the 10th or the 11th of January. It's a hectic time to work in retail. And I just like to say to those that have been in retail and love retail, well, you have more enthusiasm than I do. But don't get me wrong, I love my job. It's not my hobby, but I love my job. At least what I do. I may not like where I work. I may not always like the people I work with. And even in some cases, even the people I call boss some days. But for the most part, I'm almost kind of like my own boss. Once in a while, we get a list of stuff to do, and for the most part, when you work in maintenance slash being a glorified cart pusher, I ain't really quite figured this out whether we're glorified maintenance men that are cart pushers or cart pushers that are glorified maintenance men. I ain't really been able to figure out the difference. Hey, good morning. Thanks for joining me this morning. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining. Got two folks here with us this morning, or did have two folks. Good morning. Welcome. How you doing this morning? Drinking me some good old cup of coffee. Um, whatever brand Save a Lot's brand is, that's what I'm drinking. Oh man, something awesome at work has occurred at work in our little break room at work. I'm happy about. Um, and I've never seen any manager do this before, so this kind of makes me psyched about it. Um, During our big Black Friday sales, or for Walmart, it's really Thursday sales. Of course, I'm sure that varies from region and different store, what do they call it? Market store locations too. But at our on our sale day, we had a K cup thing that a lot of us wasn't aware about of until after the fact. But they had a little K cup thing, for customers and for anybody, but it's mostly for the customers, to where they get a cup of coffee and shop at the same time and everything. And it was really cool. But the coolest thing about the entire thing is about towards the end or so is our store manager decided since there's enough left over that we would, appreciate it. And so he had it brought up to our break room and I thought that was mighty fine. Well, he liked the idea of that so well that even though all the stores that was doing that had to send the machine back and everything, um, he decided that we was going to keep one in the break room, and if the associates wanted to buy their own, then they could use the machine and have their own. And I don't know if people have just volunteered stuff to keep it going, but seems like in the little freebie box thing, um, it just keeps getting staying filled. And eventually, I like to help contribute since I up and partake and drink. I like to help contribute to that. But they got a lot of fancy coffee for those things. I tell you what, they got different types of French roasts, flavored coffees, and everything else. I think so far mine is French caramel, and then we got the syrup pumps that up there. Not too many people use the syrup pumps, but um, they have a salted caramel. I'm like, well, I'll just see how this works out. So I put about 4 pumps of that salted caramel, in the cup I got, and then I'll take that um, French caramel or French. No, it's not French caramel. French vanilla that they have, and or something like that, and I put it in that curator, and that tastes mighty good. And I'm not one for iced coffee really, but except for maybe once in a blue moon. And I put a little ice in there, like if I'm drinking it on my break, I put a little ice in there to so I can, at least finish my coffee before my break's up, cool it down a little bit. And it tastes mighty good that way too. I was really shocked. So if y'all out there ever, got one of those fancy little coffee makers like that, um, y'all try that. Get a little bottle of that salted caramel and get you some of that French vanilla stuff, and those little K cups. Y'all try that. It's mighty fine drinking. Some of that coffee too has such a nice flavor to it that I don't even put sugar with it and with it. I think it might be a healthier way for me to start drinking coffee in a healthier way. Well, I've been talking too much. My pipe went out. I got a few blends after everything settles and stuff that I'm gonna give another first impression and do another little tobacco review. Being honest with you, folks, if you are a beginner pipe smoker and you're wanting to, see what tobaccos are what, I like to say that I can only give you my opinions and my thought about it, but there are other channels out there that I know of for a fact that give a great, better review than what I can. But to name a few, well, let's see. There's quite a lot of them out there. Um, Mutton Chop Piper is one of them. Of course, he also has a Blend Club, and before I ended up in the having some things happen, I was going to try to buy the blends that he was doing for Blend Club and be part of Blend Club, but things just don't always work out the way you plan them to. So but that's one I'd follow for better um, ideas on what blends are like. And then well, just about everybody out there in the YTPC. Um, it's hard for me to think of people off the top of my head, but there's a lot of yins out there that do better tobacco reviews than I can even imagine doing. Let's see. Old Berg's one. Old Berg, he won't steer you wrong neither. He's a good one. Guys from the Aristocob, Marksman's Breakfast Club. If you ain't never watched that, I recommend watching that. I like watching those guys. They're funny. Um, Once in a while, he don't do it so much anymore, but once in a good while, um, George Bruno, um, he was going by Gray Bailey, but I just hear in the recent notice he just took that off and made it just George Bruno. So um, I recommend checking out George Bruno's tobacco reviews. And he also has everybody out there has, I think, in the YTPC has contributed a first time how to smoke your pipe videos, and I say give everybody a chance. Check out what they do, their techniques, because it's a very lovely experience, And not everybody smokes their pipe the same, but one thing for sure that every fellow piper out there has in common, we both enjoy the pipe and the camaraderie of the pipe. And also, I'm just so happy to know that in the YTPC, you know, everybody's a giving and everything, There's a few people I want to send some stuff out to, and once again, money just seems to always kick me in the teeth. Of course, also, I'm probably, as I tell anybody when it comes to certain things, I'm probably about as slow as an old Mac computer that still took discs before Windows was ever invented. But when I say I'm going to send you something, I was going to send you something. It just takes me a little while. It's almost like someone told me one time whenever you go to get in debt or decide you're going to get in debt and everything for something, someone told me if it's in between two and then individuals, they said you might as well tell them up front if you're low income and everything. They say you might as well let them know that there might come a time you might be late on the payment or short on a payment, but nevertheless, you will either make up the short payment or let them know and assure them that you will get them eventually paid off. Just don't let it go up months at a time. I've seen people do that, and I've seen other people. I got friends that's had that, happen. And by the way, thank you for the like, and once again, thank you all for joining me this morning. How y'all doing this morning? Y'all feeling good? What you drinking this morning? You smoking anything? Like I said, I'm smoking Colt Blood Red Moon. Oh, hey, Madison. My Madison's on. Wait a minute, you're supposed to be at work. Yeah, she's working this morning. She just decided to say hello to me. I feel special now. I'm showing off my hat to all the fans. By the way, I gotta tell you what. I had this idea, but she had the skill with the hot glue gun. Now I'm going to share a funny story, and I'm sure she's going to laugh because she knows what I'm about to say. One morning, put this hat on, and something came loose. Well, she decided, well, hey, wait a minute. We'll put a little super glue on it, and it'll quickly dry. Well, what she failed to realize, and I was too stupid to stop to think to take the hat off, well, that glue dripped down into the pores of the hat because it's one of those breathable hats, got some holes in it, right on my hair. I looked at her and I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to have to start wearing a hat till this glue gets out of my hair. I said, people going to think I was trying to be a Rasta that went wrong. But, yeah. And last night was fun too. Picking out the not hot, picking out the super glue out of my hair. Boy, she really loved that. Cackled and giggled the entire time while I was telling her, "Ooh, that hurts." But it was okay. Made me happy. She's a very talented gal. She cooks. She can clean. She knows how to manage money probably better than I could wrap my head around the thought of it. And she's very artistically talented. She really is. Some things I'm going to try to do today. Gotta go shopping for something this morning. I don't know when I'll go, but I'll go whenever I get around to it. And wait a minute. Maybe that's where I. It's pretty bad when a person can't remember where they put something. I hate it when I can't find something and I know I've had it and I know it was right in front of me. Oh, there it is. And I can't find it because I lost it somewhere. Also, it's almost like you'll lose sometimes when you're prone to losing stuff. 9 times out of 10, the place you lost it at is right in front of your face. Happens a lot sometimes, especially if I'm real focused on wanting to do something. But yeah, I got things laid out. Sometimes I'll forget that I put it right in front of me. Funny thing is about the mind though is you know, study of neurology and stuff. Something funny about our brains. Our brains are equipped to handle complicated and difficult situations and problems. But because of that, sometimes that also can make the most easiest tasks or job actually seem harder or become harder because our minds are processing it as a complicated thing when really it's a simple thing, a simple matter that is easy, but because our minds are so used to clicking and driving into figuring out complicated problems that sometimes the simplest things are harder. It's even worse when you're dyslexic. Because for me, my problem is with my dyslexia and everything, is I'll get 20 billion thoughts just blast in my head at the same time, and either before I can think them out correctly or process them, it's like I forget midway what I'm doing, and then another thought takes its place immediately. And I'm pretty sure some of you's noticed that whenever I do some of my videos. But anyways, I also had some goals today, other than getting something for a dinner. But I'm thinking about working on another painting, starting another painting today. I might make a live video for it too, maybe. I'm not too for sure. But it's something that I'm going to try to challenge myself at again. I got a canvas primed and ready to go, as you can see in the background there, that little black square you see. That's a canvas that I got primed and ready to go. Just a matter of getting things put together. Well, I hope wherever everybody's at, I hope you're warm and cozy. I noticed too, I got a few new subscribers, people that are decided to that are fans that decided that I was worth a little bit of their time, to take a little bit of time out of their day to spend a little time with me. So I like to say to all the new fans that hit like, share, and subscribe, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And to also all the older fans that have stuck by me through all my craziness, I thank you all too. You know something I wish I knew how to do? I wish I knew how to read sheet music. But not really just to read sheet music, but understand it enough to compose. I always liked the idea of composing music. I always figured if I could learn how to compose music, I could be the next Beethoven. I don't know what it is. You think a guy that likes classic rock and everything, you wouldn't think that that type of person would not be into classical music, you know. But I like it. There's something about it. And they've even shown scientifically where classical music stimulates the brain cells and stimulates neurons in the mind and can do several things. They say I was watching one like a YouTube video one time about you know music theory and stuff and on a scientific medical level and they had said something about exposing a fetus to the sound of classical music will help the child become a much more happier, bouncier child, you know, a real happy go lucky kind of kid, as well as also help stimulate the neurons that make up the brain, or brain neurons, or something to that effect. And I find that stuff very, 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 very interesting. sometimes I often wonder what had happened if I had taken an interest in the medical field. At one point in time, I thought of three different careers that I thought would have been kind of awesome. I thought it'd be kind of cool at one point in time, and the reason why I say this is mostly stems from how, for some reason, when I was in school and I was going through health class, learning about the development, of child, from the whole shim sham shaboom, all the way with the birthing process. I always thought to myself, that'd be one heck of a career, one heck of a thing to go into, and I don't know what they really call them doctors, but them doctors that handle things of that nature, or a delivery doctor, you know, and because at one point in time, and I don't know why I actually was able to remember this. It's beyond me, but a long, long time ago when I was in high school, um, I actually memorized all the medical names for the afterbirth sac and then the umbilical cord. I actually at one point in time knew what it was called when it was attached to one part and the part that was attached to the developing fetus, and how there's two actual cords there. I used to know the names and the purpose for all of them and all sorts of things. I don't know why, but I memorized it. I don't know if it was just very super intriguing to me or what, but at one point in time I was like, well, if I can remember this, maybe I should look into the medical field or something. But also I figured to myself, boy, it'd be pretty easily to screw up something and something go wrong, and if something was to go drastically wrong, could I live with myself, you know? And I thought to myself, nah, it's not for me. But I just found it intriguing. And then another job that I thought I would look into going into be was a mortician. And then I thought about that really long and hard, and I thought to myself, sad thing is with my luck, that would wind up being a job that would eventually just depress me almost to death. Just because on account of, you know, you you're working with dead people. The good thing of that is they don't complain and they don't get in your way of what you're trying to do. But on the other hand, I'm sitting there thinking, well, if there was like, a young, really young person or a child that came in or something, I thought to myself that would be really heartbreaking, to do. And so I was like, nah, that job probably ain't for me. And then one job I thought would be really awesome, and I still think it'd be really awesome to do. I always thought it'd be cool to be a radio DJ. I thought, like with, at a rock station, or rock and soft rock and metal, kind of be like a Casey Kane, how he used to be, also with all these metal stars and everything. Of course, what's sad, and give or take another decade or two, all the music that I like, this classic rock, it's going to wind up being classified oldies. How's that for a reality check on age? There used to be this post on Facebook that said said 1980s music, or no, it showed a picture of a band. It was Motley Crue, 1980 something, and then showed a picture of them now, 2017, and still listening to classic rock. And I'm just like, that's me, man. It's like, I don't know why, but I remember in the 90s, like mid 90s, late 90s, when it seems like rock, metal, like, was literally taking a back seat. And I remember when I first started noticing, like, around somewhere between 96 and 98, where all this hip hop and stuff started taking over. And I mean, in some ways, hip hop is okay, the old school stuff, but this stuff that it just seems like garbage. I mean, granted, what I'm about to say, it can be portrayed even in country music as well as heavy metal music, but seems like all it really is to me is nothing more but about sex or something like that, or clubbing or something, and it just seems like it's like dead music to me, if you can even call it music. It just has no appeal to me whatsoever, and every time I hear some of it, I just like almost want to get sick in my mouth, man. It just hits me that way. And I try to keep an open mind about some of it because some of that stuff has great music, just some stupid lyrics. But I ain't saying I could do any better. I mean, them guys are making millions of dollars, and I'm making a few dollars above minimum wage, so what do I know? But I feel like rock and roll and metal, I mean, some of it, was about, let's face it, you know, sex and all that too. But some of it also had real, true meaning, or stood for something. Like that song, I can't remember who it done. I think it was, I could be wrong about this. Don't quote me, but I think the band ANSAP or something, or ASAP or however they're pronounced, wrote that song, and the wall came tumbling down. Talking about that wall over in Germany, and stuff. You know, that stuff like that. Some of it had meaning. Iron Maiden. A lot of people want to say they're a devil band and all that. I think they're full of it because every lyric that band has ever wrote about, it's about historical happenings. You know, like the song "The Wicker Man." I mean, I know that kind of has some pagan roots, but it's also part of history. And it's about more or less about that. It's about the Burning Man that they have out there in that desert and stuff. Even though it's all pagan ritual and everything else. But it's also part of history. That stuff happened. You know, and it's like, it seems like to me metal had some deeper meaning, and it's like reggae, man. Reggae to me always had deep meaning. I like reggae, but I'm just particular about what I listen to, But I like reggae, real true reggae music, because it was spiritual, you know. It was about current issues going on, and it was almost it's one part poetry, mixed with some good jamming music. And then I love the sound of Sabbath. Anything with like Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and even Uriah Heep, good music, with some meaning behind it, Some of it a little kind of, medievalish stuff, but like, it still had meaning to it. It just wasn't just what I would call dead lyrics, you know what I mean? Or even take the Aerosmith song "Janie Got a Gun." I never realized how deep that song really was and what it was really hitting the nail on until I seen the music video, and it finally clicked in my head. I'm like, oh my god, this song really had a major meaning behind it, And I was like, wow, wow. And then take Wasp, the song "Babylon Is Burning," and also that newer Wasp album, Golgotha. All of it, man, has some deep spiritual meaning. as which is awesome. Well, folks, I think I'm going to leave you with that this morning. I'm starting to have a very low battery, and so, anyways, you have a great, wonderful morning. May your day be blessed. And to all the fans out there, wherever you may be from, whatever walk of life you come from, may you be blessed. And thank you all for hitting like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, take care. And Merry Christmas.